it is game number 3 of Vici Gaming versus LGD. This is Vici Gaming's last chance to make their way into the 15th place spot and break the curse. Let's set the scene a little bit, Preacher. Also, Matt Niberic and Daniel, Jimmy Preacher Fu, Vici Gaming. In a world where one team was cursed to only finish last for 3 splits in a row, now they travel to their enemy's homeland of Hangzhou to try and win back the love of their wife. Or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the love of their life.
I don't know about the whole love thing, but I know that they're trying to get back into 15th. They're trying to show themselves into form. And I'm just excited to see Vici just get to go at it, man. That was an exciting as hell game number 2.
And more importantly, it was all due to a Wonder Duo, but we can only give MVP to one person, and that did go over to Ike's, because that was such a beautiful play coming out from, let's see the man himself. There he is, of course, that Gragas. 4, 0, and 9 as well. It was the roaming death squad between him and also Soutwind, and every single time there was a play on the map, you knew that Gragas was going to be there.
It was so exciting to watch just the roaming gang squad of Vici, because he and Soutwind were joined at the hip the entire time, roaming around the map being like, okay, what lane are we screwing up next? We want to go mid? Cool. Let's go top now. Let's go back bot.
And this was one of the plays I was hyping up endlessly inside of that game, flashing over and bopping backwards so the rest of his team could catch up. Beautiful play from Ike's. But more important than that, his E was so influential throughout pretty much every single gank that he decided to do. This one also, where he joins up, that cast was brilliant. And it's not the only cast that lands him a kill as well, because we're going to see very shortly in the base, it gets one for him, but every single time, chasing behind with his E, his ultimate also doing so much work. You got to give props over. This is the one where you always need to watch out for his ulti. He's checking out for low members, and lo and behold, there is actually one. Chuck it down onto badeMan. There you go.
Honestly, I think this is one of the games where, for Vici Gaming, I feel pretty confident about praising the play of every single player so far. In that game number 2 specifically, because if you look at it, everyone did their job. You know, Puff, while he didn't show up in a lot of those highlight reels, while he didn't do a whole lot, he held his own in the bottom lane in a 1 versus 2. Very admirable of him. And Q won his lane matchup in the top lane against Garvey. He absolutely demolished that matchup. Yes, there was the help of the roaming gang squad, but the fact that he was able to hold his own for that long in what was a counter matchup is really impressive. And it let Vici do their thing. It let Vici take that advantage and throw it across the map and let them get Jay ahead, and then he just started roaming for the rest of the game. So suddenly you have, instead of just one member, the jungler, roaming, you have 3 members at any given time roaming somewhere on the map.
That was it. Everything felt like dominoes for Vici Gaming. So back to basics. Everything starts with champion select. What you need to do is you need to get a strong lane for yourself if you are the side of LGD and you're looking for a comeback. You need to make sure that your jungler gives resources, because turn your eyes back to their last match against IG. Turn your eyes to ones before that into BLG. Both of those 2 matches, Garvey did so well because he was donated over resources, donated over the early kills and also the advantages in lane to make sure that he can carry. Wasn't given that in this game, and that was one of the many reasons why we didn't actually see a Garvey highlight reel.
Maybe this game will be when they decide to change their focus, but honestly, last game, I don't feel like Garvey was the only issue as well, because there was nowhere where at any point LGD was actively ahead. All of the kills at one point, it was 8-0 in favor of Vici Gaming, and if you look at the end of the game, the only kills went over in the literal last minutes of the game. So LGD just at all points were not able to hold their own against the Vici gang squad, and I don't know if that was because they weren't expecting the strategy, if they weren't just well adjusted, or where they fell apart. It
was also reading them like a book and making sure that you countered their playstyle. So of course you got the Alistar, which gets pseudo-countered by the Taric. It's not really a strong counter, but you definitely don't want to take it into that lane. How does Soutwind counter it? By just not playing that lane at all, going into the other parts of the map, influencing the top and mid lane as well. So back to basics once again. Make sure that you don't actually get baited into picking up a counter pick that you never actually get to execute.
Why is there so much good art in the stadium of Hangzhou?
I mean, that's better than anything that I've ever created in my life. I'm going to be honest.
I'm feeling
not
a little
an artist.
bit. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit hurt. I even made a drawing for this set. You guys will see later, but I'm feeling a little bit ashamed, honestly. Look at that.
That is so high detail.
That's
even
beautiful.
The goatee, man, that looks better than my goatees when I grow them out.
It's like, how'd they get more detail than real life? I don't know. Fans in Hangzhou, Just something else today, man. So much beautiful art and such beautiful games being put in front of us.
And you expect this out of LGD's home arena as well, because LGD, they've got such a strong crowd behind them. Every other game where LGD's not playing, you also hear the chants after the official chants. So,
log on it.
Yeah, exactly. We have to see how their chants come out for their action. Look, is that upside down once again? This is the second time in a row.
No. It's beautiful. It's a story in 3 parts. The first game, they were both right side up. The second game, the other one, their partner in crime, turned over and they were like, will we ever be together again? And they changed to join them in eternal love and both being upside down. It's a beautiful story.
They met in the end. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, Preacher. And we're going into the draft for game number 3 of LGD versus Vici. We got the Akali ban. We got the Aurelia ban on the side of Vici Gaming. LGD now on blue. Yeah, that Kiana ban makes sense.
Take that Kiana off. Wouldn't even be surprised if something like the Gragas was off as well. It wasn't necessarily the pick for Ike's, but it was his play style. Gragas enables it. They don't want to fight against it.
Those bans are just like, yep. That certainly was last game.
Those players play those champs. Let's let them not play them.
Let's make that not happen again. But now Vici, I want to see what they want to take away from LGD because they've been gifted over essentially 2 bans. So
you can always target something like, for instance, Yuuki's pull, but instead they want to once again take away the Olaf. The Olaf is strong. We saw the Karma last game being hovered as well. So both of those 2 now no longer available. Of course, the Karma really loses power once something like an Olaf no longer can get bolted down into your enemy's lines. But instead, the Yuumi, we've seen this ban in pretty much every single game, but now available for LGD, immediately pick it up.
Yeah, first time in this series, and it looks like Vici Gaming not going to be changing their strategy up all that much. They might want to be picking up this Alistar here, and they do in the bottom lane for Soutwind.
Once again, I was really hyped about this Alistar, so the fact that he's on it once again, I'm really happy to see.
And they're picking up the Lucian again. They're really proud of that bot lane and how well it performed last game. They want to make that happen once again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And more importantly, it was a story of 2 parts. Alistar was roaming and Lucian was also getting the farm and more importantly, the experience. So they execute on this once again, which it looks like they have a good opportunity to because it is an Ezreal that they are up against. Then this should be a very strong strategy for Vici Gaming. Watch out for the Alistar in the early game, but more importantly, watch out for Lucian when he gets to level 11, more or less the same time that the solo laners do.
That said, I'm much happier with this bottom lane from LGD than I am from their bot lane last time. Because Ezreal Yuumi just does so much more damage going into the later stages of the game. If someone gets hit with a Prowling Projectile and Arcane, Q from Ezreal, they're just screwed. They're just once you're past the mid game, you have to back after that point.
The poke is ridiculous to deal with on the side of LGD, and contrasting from the Taric from last game, the Yuumi just does so much, pretty much insta-winning the lane. You have to expect that the Alistar is going to stay rather than leave, just because one of the best ways to beat the Yuumi is to hard engage on her over and over and kill the ADC that she's attached to. So watch out for that, and watch out for a different playstyle that Vici Gaming have. If they opt to move the Alistar around again, then it could be very deadly, because the Lucian can just get 100-0.
Right, Vici Gaming going to be focusing bans towards that mid lane, taking away Yuuki's LeBlanc. The Jace getting banned away as well. That is a beautiful, beautiful Yuumi drawing.
It was PYL's Yuumi as well, and he's got the Yuumi in this game.
Beautiful. Good work by the cameraman pointing that out as well. But now we get to see the second ban coming out from Vici Gaming. Probably once again focused towards those solo lanes as that's all that's left. I want to see what they're prioritizing here.
Don't forget, Aatrox is still open and was picked last game as well. So if there's a denial away, expect that one. But we haven't actually seen too much priority in the solo laners. I mean, the last game we saw Camille into Fiora, not very high in priorities, really a skill expression more than anything else. I don't expect that to change coming into these bans.
The Karma being taken away there by Vici Gaming, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that, I'm going to be honest, but it is banned quite often, so they just want to keep that away from the solo lanes.
And more importantly, Corki is still available. Now, you don't normally want to take it because it can be countered by the Silas, but hey, anything goes with this really unmeta pick and ban phase.
Oh, there's the Aatrox being taken away. We were talking about it just earlier, so Vici Gaming not going to be able to pick that out for themselves, but could be picking up a Zoe.
I like to see it. If they lock it in, then I would be a very happy guy because Jay really stands out when he's on his comfort champions. Kiana's one of them. Zoe's another. Also the Talia. So if you can get any of those 3 onto Jay, it's really great to see.
I love picks like Zoe and Olaf because they're sort of like LPL mainstays that in the other regions just never found success. Olaf more recently, last split, it was definitely the Zoe where everyone else was like, Zoe sucks. Don't play it. And then in the LPL, we're just like, Zoe's got a 60% win rate. What are you guys talking about? So
it's very strange that other regions don't pick it up. But this is really interesting. Because for Vici Gaming, their very first pick was the Alistar. They didn't ban away the Sylas in the second rotation. I immediately assumed that Jay was going to pick it up for himself, maybe even rotate it up to Cube. But the fact that they allow it through could be really punishing for them. One of the best ultimates to steal away by pretty much every single Sylas player, they say, is the Alistar ultimate. Because you get to run around, you don't take any damage, and you still got the rest of your kit to dish out damage to your opponents. So this is really strange, and I'm worrying for Vici Gaming if they don't get a very coherent lead in the early game.
This will be an interesting combination with the Sylas as well. The Vladimir being picked up by LGD, going to be going most likely towards that top side of the map. So Garvey going to have that carry champion available. And the Zoe already picked up for Vici Gaming, being less successful this split than last split, but still a strong enough pick. Let's see what they rounded out with. I'd love to see the Mordekaiser now that it's enabled again. Yeah,
we haven't seen him in a long time. Global disable, and even after disable, people didn't really want to pick it up, but this could be very strong. I like it into the Vladimir in specific because Vladimir has so much AoE. You can completely remove that factor in the middle of a team fight if you Death Realm him.
So Mordekaiser being picked up. First time we've seen him in a while because of that ban. I'm going to be honest, I'm hoping the teams remember how to play around him. Because he was initially, if I remember correctly, he was initially disabled because of his interaction with Sylas. So,
all right, let's hope that that doesn't happen.
I'm scared. But Vici Gaming and disabled champions are champions that break the game. It's a scary combo.
Don't hit me with that, Nibiria. I'm looking at that, and I am just saying, there's a good interaction because Mord, if he gets behind, he always has the option of ulting the enemy support. You kill one of the members, you get yourself a kill, and more importantly, it's a 5v4 afterwards. But Yumi's always onto the Ezreal, so that could be one of the points that is now taken away from his options when he gets into the game. If he gets ahead, great on him, but if he doesn't, then he might struggle to find a target to bring with him.
I'm just really thrilled to be able to see the Mordekaiser once again in competitive play, especially with the Zoe. I think Vici Gaming, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. How are you feeling about the early game for these teams?
It definitely looks like it has a lot of synergy. I'm actually looking past the early game and looking towards when people start grouping up. If one person gets caught by the Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble, instant pull from the Mordekaiser. If that doesn't kill him, you'd have to expect the ultimate to follow. So very cohesive engage potential from Vici Gaming, whereas on the side of LGD, they want to once again just counter their lanes and make sure that they can get ahead. Couldn't execute in game number 2, got better tools in game number 3.
Let's hope they're able to find them and make use of them against Vici Gaming, or Vici Gaming might just run away with the game once again off the back of Southwind. He's got the roaming squad again with Ikes if he really wants to go for it, but we've got new tools to work with. You've got the Zoe, you've got the Mordekaiser, and we've got a game 3 on our hands of Vici Gaming versus LGD.
Oh!
I always feel bad for their throats.
Yeah?
You know what I mean?
Because they have to shout more than usual if you're an LGD fan, right?
Yeah. Just the fans, all the team members, everything like that.
I heard a cheeky IG shout as well.
They got to mix it up now. It was. I'm interested to think if there's ever like all the fans that usually come to all the matches, whichever ones shout LGD, if they ever have like a meeting online, they're like, okay, we're in LGD's arena this week.
What do we do?
Yeah, like who are we shouting? Are we going back to TSM? And they're like, no.
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 I mean, one person, Kevin. Jake's met him, but take a look. LGD is moving in. Vici knows this.
Vici Gaming going to be contesting this blue buff. A flash engage there from Southwind does a lot of damage. badeMan in a whole lot of trouble. Ignite not going to be able to take him down just yet.
Where are you going?
I don't think they'll be able to. Oh, they will. They'll actually find him. First blood over to the Alistar. Southwind picking that one up, and that was a beautiful counter to the engage from LGD.
Yeah, that was way too soon. My internal clock was saying at least 3 more seconds until an execute available, but badeMan goes in with his bottom lane. Didn't anticipate 4 members from Vici to be there and gives up a very early kill.
I'm going to be honest, Preacher. I was sitting here like, why are they going so deep for this? They're on the wrong side of the jungle. Then I noticed what color LGD was. I was like, oh, that's blue on red side.
Yeah,
oh, no, LGD. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Garvey having a little bit of trouble of his own. Cube is just pounding down on him at this point. Garvey, I don't know if he's even going to make it out of here at this point. The flash away. Cube doing so much damage early.
That is ridiculous. He just didn't stop trading once he got his grasp down, and also his passive running down Garvey, because you get the extra movement speed as well. This is so punishing.
Oh, that's a kill! Oh! What is going on in game number 3, Preacher?
Cube's getting a solo kill. That's what's going on, Nabiri. More to the point, I was really worrying for him if he got behind. Throw that out the window. He is not behind.
He's not behind. He's just got a Doran shield to his name, and Ike's as well, doing pretty well. It was funny because after that invade on Ike's, we saw his health really low, and I was like, oh, man, I don't know about Ike's this game. He might be in a little bit of trouble, but instead the invade gets turned down back on the face of LGD. Then their top laner gets solo killed out by Cube. This is not the start that LGD were looking for.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And Vici Gaming are capitalizing on it as much as they possibly can. I expect to see that badeMan is going to do something in the early game, but for the time being, still the 2-kill advantage going over to Vici Gaming.
Ike's is going to be able to spot out badeMan here. They might be fighting over this scuttler at the moment, but I think badeMan should just give this one up, given how the game's been going at this point, and he will. So that's going to be the Scuttle Crab in the top side of the map, going over to Vici Gaming. Bottom side not been taken just yet. It's being pinged out by badeMan, so that seems to be where he's going. But so far, this early game for Vici,
whatever early game deficit they fell in because Ike's got hard engaged on, it is all for naught because they finally get to pull it back, and Ike's even got control over the Scuttle Crab as well. This is a ridiculous start for Vici Gaming, and this is exactly what we want to see. Unfortunately, it wasn't there in game number 1, but hey, everything can change, and they found their mojo back in game number 2, continuing it for the very last one. We got to highlight once again what this means for Vici Gaming if they win. This will be the first split in pretty much 4 splits that they actually don't come in last place. So a lot of pride on the line.
And it's with a developmental squad as well. These guys are pretty much all brand new. Oh no, Soutwind a little bit of trouble. He's going to get the knockup onto Yuuki as well. I don't know about this dive going down here, LGD. I don't think you're going to get the opportunity for it. So, Vici Gaming going to be looking for it. Ike's, like you said, watching for it. Yuuki going to have the flash over the wall. Will it be enough, or will they chase? Looks like it will be enough of a deterrent that LGD get away safe.
Yeah, forced over the wall, but this is so much riding on it, and so far Vici's very well executing. I mean, this is ridiculous. We've seen what Cube can do once he gets into this melee against Garvey. Garvey has a tendency not to actually dodge out on the ease just because he's not watching out for them. Had to burn the flash very early on. He's going to get punished in lane all the way until his back up.
Yeah, he is, however, even in CS, which is very impressive from Garvey here. But Cube having a pretty good time up here on the top side of the map. He's working towards his first item at the very moment. And Jay maybe looking for a roam at this point. It's a little bit early, so probably just putting down some vision there. There's a lot of vision around this mid lane in favor of Vici Gaming.
And honestly, the best thing that LGD could do if they want to use early game in bot lane.
Southwind looking for the engage, going to bind the headbutt, pulverize onto Kramer. He's getting down to half health. They're looking for more, not going to be able to find it, but they will chunk him down to half at the very least. As Ike just visits for a friendly chat.
Yeah, just a little bit of healing, too strong for LGD's bottom lane. But once again, going over to the top side of the map, this is going to be more or less perma-shove for Vici Gaming because Mordekaiser does so much AoE, even unwillingly because of his passive as well. So very easy gank pathing for badeMan if he wants to exploit it. It's a Mordekaiser as well, so if you want to gank it before level 6, no ultimate. But just as I say that, he reaches it, and that window has now shut closed on his fingers.
Got the Conquerors as well, so the longer you fight, the more healing he can do. That's a real problem here for the side of LGD, but all is not lost just yet. It's only a 300 gold lead in favor of Vici Gaming, but the tempo is so far in their favor at the moment. badeMan just going to try and clear out some wards, try and get a little bit back in the vision game while he can. Because the top side of the map, completely dark for both teams, but the bottom side was definitely in Vici's favor. They'll be able to clean up this control ward that LGD placed, and vision is back to neutral.
It's Season 7 once more. Top lane is an island, and nobody's going to be visiting them, but here's a Hex Flash.
Hex Flash coming in, engaged from Southwind, gets the knockup once again onto badeMan. 3 versus 3 here. Who's going to be able to find it? The teleport comes in. It's going to complete. They get the first kill. Vici Gaming going to be able to find it. Yuuki has the ultimate pop, stolen away from the Alistar, but is it going to be enough to keep him alive? Cube comes in. Where's the dunk, Cube? I'm looking for it, but he gives it to Puff instead. 2 kills for none in favor of Vici Gaming.
Good guy Cube teleports in, even donates a kill over to his ADC. What an early game from Vici Gaming, and more specifically, what an early game from Cube. He has been all over over the map, dominating his own lane, making sure that everybody else gets ahead as well. His E has definitely been a very strong tool for the team. And now that we get to watch it again, it's all instigated because Soutwind uses Hex Flash over, engages on everybody, but this is the TP that you need to watch out for. Already bursted down, badeMan gets taken down, and now Yuuki in the middle of everybody else. Puff is looking for a kill, and Cube is happy to donate it over with that rip.
There it goes. There you go. Goodbye, Yuuki. Hello, 300 gold on the side of Puff. He's now picked up his Vamp Scepter on top of the Doran Shield. He'll be keeping himself pretty safe against that poke, hopefully able to close that CS gap that Kramer has gotten.
And now, one kill onto every member except for Ike's. This is looking like the Vici Gaming that we saw in game number 2. They're looking to repeat their success. They've got the tools to do so. Check out where all of the solo laners stay. While there is a CS down for Cube, he's still got an advantage just because of the solo kill that he got and also the teleport. So don't count that as anything but a one lane for top lane, and Jay as well is sitting so comfortable with that kill.
Very unsurprised by the development of this going to a Game 3 because Vici Gaming in the last 3 series have taken them all to a full 3-game set. But this may be the first one where they find themselves victorious at the end of it, and so far they're off to a great start. I want to see how they transition this going forward because as we've mentioned throughout the series, their problem is not with getting the lead early. Their problem is with transitioning it into the mid and the late game. This might be a good start. Hex Flash onto the Trouble Bubble. Jungler. Ike's goes in for the knockup. Going to be able to find it onto badeMan. Gets the kill for Jay. The flash away from LGD's bottom lane. Going to keep him safe for now. Jay looks for a little bit more poke. Not able to find it, but they're happy with the one kill because they can transition that into a dragon.
Absolutely ruthless. They're using their advantage they got in the early game because it was donated over to the bottom portion of the map from Cube. Everybody else gets to fight around that side as well. Lane Island is going so well in the top lane, and every other 4v4 is going to the side of Vici Gaming. So Vici Gaming, very great execution. And yeah, I like the point that you raised up about how Vici usually execute very well in the early game, but it's really later on. But bottom lane. Yuuki in a little bit of trouble. They're not going to be able to find anything onto Kramer, just the stun with the auto. Following in with the Prowling Projectile. I don't know how much you guys want to fight this, actually, LGD. PYL so low, probably not going to be able to take him, though. Yeah, and I was about to say that they definitely did show signs of life in the second game just because they managed to recover, because they actually had really clean calls, especially the fights around the Baron and the Rift Herald to bring themselves up. So if you're LGD, you've got to be fearing this composition. The early game's going well. You don't really have a question when it comes to the mid-game good shot calls. Vici Gaming in a really great place.
And especially if you look at the gold and you look at the... If you look at the gold differential, it tells a little bit different story because it's not very much. It's 1.4K at 10 minutes. But look at the CS as well. Vici are down in pretty much every single lane. I think actually, yes, they're down CS in every single lane and still have a 1.5K gold advantage.
And the reason for that is because everybody has been rotating around. So even including the mid laner Jay, because he was rotating around to meet Yuuki, nobody's really been spending full time in their own lane. And Southwind's looking for this.
Looking forward, just going to be able to find the blue buff instead of the full engage, smite it away. Ike's going to be able to secure that for Vici.
This looks exactly like game number 2, where Southwind is rotating with Ike's and just bullying out badeMan. Not necessarily into the jungle, they can also look at any other part of the map that they choose. Now this is much more difficult for Puff, just because it's into a Yuumi lane, but if he's just going to be perma-sitting under his turret, it's not the end of the world, because the best that LGD bottom lane can do is poke him out. He's still got teleport, which means that he's not even fearing for his turret plates.
At this point, LGD trying to get back what they can. They're focusing towards the bottom side of the map. Their roam was spotted here. PYL and badeMan looking potentially for a dive on the bottom side of the map, but not going to be able to find it. Puff's already backed himself off, and Southwind is off doing other things. Clearing out vision, trying to establish some of his own. Vici Gaming still staying in the game, and it looks like the Rift Herald's going to be dropped first things first in towards this mid lane.
Yeah, I was about to talk about the vision, but instead they're hard pushing mid lane, and this is all enabled by the fact that Southwind allowed Ike's to get advantage on the top side, drop some wards down in there, made sure that nobody was going to contest over that Rift Herald, and now we're seeing the fruition of the Rift Herald in the mid lane.
Southwind, these past 2 games, has just been an absolute amazing roamer alongside Ike's. The two of them have gotten so much done for their team just in these past 2 games alone, and I'm really excited to see it, honestly, because this is a spark of life that we want to see from Vici.
And we are tired of seeing him, but instead he forces himself onto our map time and time again because he is everywhere that the action is, and I am loving it right now. Already a level 6 on the Alistar as well, and I expect to see him start some major engages after the 14-minute mark. Now, once again, the matchup is still how it stands. I was talking about how the Sylas always wants to steal away the Alistar ult, can use it very well for his own advantage, but you know, it's just starting to slip away from him. It's just looking harder and harder to actually execute because of the lead that Vici Gaming has built for themselves.
LGD going to clear out this wave. PYL is going to make his way back to the base, but Kramer's got to be a little bit careful here by himself. Not going to do a whole lot other than send the True Shot Barrage up there, clear out the wave a little bit, thin it out. Yuuki in the mid lane. Talking about this Sylas earlier, what ultimates he wants to steal, but I feel like at this point he kind of needs to steal a better laning phase because he's only up a few CS, and it's against Jay, who's been roaming.
For laning phase, you'd ultimately want to steal Puffs, but how are you even going to do that when he's down into the bottom lane and he's never going to be joining anybody, effectively being the weak side of his map, not getting any resources? It's going to be really tough for him. So this is going to be punishing for LGD because while they do have very nice matchups, they cannot execute on this end. Very reminiscent of game number 2 where the same thing happened.
And we were hinting about the vision control earlier on before the fight in the mid lane, but we're seeing the results of it now where Ike's just feels comfortable going this deep into the enemy jungle and knowing he can't be contested. Because look at his mid laner, just putting out so much damage. 1v1 Yuuki doesn't even have to land the paddle star, still has more damage off the back of that massive gold lead. And
you know that it's not working out for your team when you're fearing because the mid lane matchup didn't go so well, because Ike's is here. Check this out. It's so fortunate that badeMan can actually see Southwind with its body, because if he couldn't, then this could be a punishing factor.
PYL coming in. Jay going to look for the trouble bubble. Not going to be able to find it on the badeMan. The teleport coming in. They really want this red buff. I've never seen someone this desperate for a buff in my life.
Miscommunication coming out from LGD's bottom lane. There was a flash away by Kramer and the ultimate burn by PYL. Vici Gaming saw that. They know where they can exploit now. No flash available for ADC, no ultimate by the support. You can hard dive this because both of the tools to disengage it have now been burned.
If you look at Puff, they're looking for the engage. There's potential 3v3 at this point, but Vici Gaming back off. They know that they've got the mid lane tower in their sights. First tower of the game goes over to Vici. Now LGD looking potentially to respond. Prowling projectile will land onto Puff. Good calling to answer. Doesn't look like anyone else in Vici is here to help out bottom laner, but Puff doesn't need it.
Hey, Southwind's ganking his own lane. Let's check out to see how this is going for them, because once again, you've got to keep your eyes onto the support and also the jungler. The fact that he's going to stay into this lane indicates that Ike wants to back off, and this is the little bit of lead that LGD was looking to bring back for themselves. Obviously still in a 3k gold deficit, but still managing to pick up an Ocean Drake will get them on a track back.
The Ocean Drake is definitely something, and the engage might be coming out from LGD. Prowling projectile going to land on the Southwind, forcing out the Unbreakable Will. They might look for a dive here to follow up, but it looks like the side of Vici Gaming already prepared for it. They see LGD coming. Depends on who's going to back off first, and it looks like it will be LGD backing off to safety. So, the very least, Vici Gaming keep their bottom lane safe.
And it's so hard for the members of LGD to ever capitalize off of that. Southwind getting low and burning his ultimate. Under any other condition, you would say this is the time when we hard gank the Alistar. But because this is Zoe, the sleepy trouble bubble means that you cannot walk through any jungle corridors that you have not watered. And this is just going to be so tough. Because when Vici Gaming see an advantage, they can capitalize on it. But when LGD can see one, and there have been a lot for them, they can never go for the fights.
Ike's just going to continue stealing away the jungle of the opponent. LGD having a whole lot of struggle this game. badeMan's just been real unlucky this game so far. He hasn't been able to find anything. 0-3-0 on that Xin. Not having a great game at all.
It's definitely not working in his favor. And when we look at the mid game for both of these two teams, it drops off even further for him because of the gold lead that Vici have got for themselves, and also because LGD can't get a cohesive team fight down. The Hail Mary would be Vladimir getting a 5-man ultimate, but realistically, Cube could just ulti him and take him out of a fight. So even the mid-game fights that they have drafted towards don't look that great, and completely counted away by Vici's draft phase, you got to say, it's looking tougher and tougher.
Vici Gaming focusing their efforts now up towards the top side of the map. They've rotated their bottom laners up here, keeping Puff and Southwind safe. Although Southwind, we know, is sort of a laner in massive air quotes at this point. He's just a second jungler, really. But
he's just going to stay here permanently. But more to the point, we got to talk about LGD. We got to talk about what they didn't execute on, because their way to success, we said before this game started, was giving attention, giving resources over to Garvey. Now, fair enough, your team doesn't have any kills, so you couldn't donate one over to him. But very little jungle attention paid to this Vladimir, who had such a rough laning phase as well into Cube, means that Garvey's not going to be able to carry like we usually see him do.
I mean, literally all the action has been in the bottom lane, right?
Yep.
This the entire game, they've just been focusing so hard on that bottom lane, and Puff has been fine. He's been responding to pressure well, he's been responding to ganks well, and maybe even in the mid lane, but Jay's been doing fine as well, and at that point, Garvey's been set behind. We've seen what a fed Vladimir can do hundreds of times here. Dozens of Vladimirs have been like, oh, I have gold, let me just destroy your entire team with one Hemoplague.
Look, it can't be an LPL cast without referencing the Shy, and of course, his Vladimir is epic. I mean, every single time, even when he doesn't have a great laning phase, but looking at Garvey's laning phase right now, I'm finding a struggle in terms of actually thinking about how he's going to transition into these team fights. 0-1-0, check out his inventory, got the dash cannon, but that's it. It's looking harder.
Uh-oh, here comes the death round. But looks like Cube's winning on the better side of it, but Yuuki stalling out as best he can. Double TP coming in from the side of LGD, but one teleport going to be answered here from Vici Gaming as well. They just need to stall for a little bit longer. Ike's in a little bit of trouble, going to be able to make his way out. Jay on the side, completely fine. Cube fine as well, uses the Proto Belt to get himself out, flashes away. He's still alive. Puff's been exhausted at this point, but flashes to safety. Vici get the worst end of the fight, but they stay alive. Oh no, as I say that, Jay goes a little bit too far forward. Sleepy Trouble Bubble goes down. It's just enough for them to be able to zone back. Southwind stops the blast plant. LGD, go no further.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking. That was the best case scenario for LGD. The teleport in from Garvey, multi-man ultimate as well, and you got the damage to boot, but unfortunately the mats didn't work out. Not enough to take anybody down on Vici Gaming. And it's just so heartbreaking because it was such a good play, but just did not come to fruition.
That was the sort of game-turning play you expect to see. That's, in fact, the same sort of game-turning play LGD and Vici had both made in game number 1, but this time LGD not going to be able to find it, and finally Puff has found his first completed item. He's going to have the Essence Reaver there, but look at Kramer. Despite how well Puff has been doing, despite him being able to get those kills, get those assists, Kramer already has the fully stacked Muramana plus the Iceborne Gauntlet, so he is putting out some mad damage right now.
But the downside is that your most fed member, arguably your ADC, because he's had a reasonably smooth laning phase, has built towards a defensive build in the Iceborne Gauntlet, wants to be more supportive for the team by slowing everybody on the opposing side over, means that it's going to be so tough for your team to actually find damage. And that was the one thing that was lacking in that last team fight. Solid DPS to put down onto Vici Gaming. Now, obviously, the Iceborne Gauntlet makes sense. You're into Cube. He doesn't have any dashes. If he death realms you, you can obviously shift somewhere else and slow him down permanently. But other than that, if you're lacking damage, it doesn't matter how much you kite him around. Eventually, they're going to beat you.
Vici Gaming looking for the top lane tower here as well. They've rotated Puff up there. Should be able to find this one uncontested, and Vici go a little bit deeper into the jungle. They know Yuuki's around here somewhere, but they're not going to be able to find him just yet. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, it looks like LGD are going to go for the Dragon. This will be their second secured Dragon of the game, so they'll have an Ocean and a Cloud to their name by the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, and they also give up priority on the top side. So, of course, it's not going to be a Baron this early on, only 20 minutes. This is not Dan Gaming that we got on our screens, but still, they get so much vision priority for Vici Gaming, and it's a Cloud Drake, so not the best Drake to be fighting over, whereas the Baron is always going to be important.
That's right. Blue buff secured there by Cube. Very well done by him. Not going to let it go over to Garvey. And meanwhile, Vici Gaming have been pushing the top side of the map. They take down the tower down to half. Yuuki has to burn his teleport. They're keeping a lot of pressure around this Baron area with their objective focus.
Good TP. I'd have to say that that was a good TP by Yuuki, because if that turret fell down, then it would be too much of an open field for Vici Gaming to play around the top side. You could easily bait people into multiple different brushes in order to actually get a death brush onto them while you are baiting around that Baron. So it's very nice that they actually keep that turret up. Obviously, the outer turret has fallen, so there is still a lot of room for Vici Gaming to play around, but denying that further presence is a good thing.
LGD maybe caught out here. Cube from the side, looking for something. Going to be able to pull Garvey back in. Garvey's the first one to fall. Vici going in, gets the engage onto multiple. Yuuki in a whole lot of trouble. Might be able to take him down. He has the Unbreakable Will pop, but can he find anything on the back foot? He cannot. Vici Gaming take down 2 kills. They're rotating up towards the Baron.
So much work done by Cube, and every single time it's due to his E. Pulling people in. Not only did it get him an early solo kill in his lane, but it's also got the pick that they needed potentially in order to get this Baron. Now, they're going to back off of this, and they're not going to capitalize onto it, but still, Cube has been doing so much for Vici Gaming.
Absolutely. And at this point, Vici has to be careful about this mid lane tower. LGD has a lot of poke coming out from Kramer at this point. Like we said, completed Muramana. Going to do a whole lot of damage. He's got the QSS as well now. But Puff, for the second game in a row, is going to be going for that crit 80 carry build on the Lucian.
Yeah, that's going to look really beautiful once he gets into the thick of things. Of course, this ultimate is going to be the start of the fight for him, so he's going to be sitting in relative safety until then. This is really what we have to watch out for, because it was started by Jay, and this is the combo. So you want to lock people down, and then you want to pull people. It's very easy to execute, and they did it perfectly. They got the kill, and while there is a disengage coming down from LGD, they lose multiple members, so still advantage to Vici, and they are opening the door with the early kills they got themselves.
Vici Gaming sitting at 2 items on Jay, almost 2 items, well, actually 2 items on Cube, 2.5 rather. They have so much gold in their pockets right now. If they want to look for another fight, they should be able to find it. Jay just does so much ridiculous poke at this point that I feel like their current plan where they're sitting around the Baron might just work for them. You have all of these walls to throw trouble bubbles through.
No need to change it. You can also rotate to the mid lane very safely because of your array of control wards that allows you to go there. But Ike's is looking for an engage.
Looking for it, might be able to find it. Lands the Prey Seeker, but not going to be able to follow up with the ultimate.
Yeah, but more to the point, the fact that Jay can insta-clear these waves and his E is on a very short cooldown, if he ever lands one of them, you know what Vici's going to do. Pull them back with the Mordekaiser as well. It's so strong.
Vision and control of Vici Gaming still around this Baron. They want to bait it out. Puff dodges away the ultimate. Very well done from him. Sleepy Trouble Bubble will not land on the side of LGD.
LGD have got the inside track, but this could be a fight.
Got the inside track, but if they get that track, did they get killed for it? It looks like they're going to be backing off towards the bottom side of the map. Oh no, Jay didn't land the Sleepy Trouble, but a huge knockup from Soutwind. badeMan goes down. The fight is broken out in earnest, and it looks like Garvey trying to do his best with the Hemo Plague. Not able to heal up. Double kill for Ike. It's going to keep going at this point. Yuuki still alive somehow. Cannot walk into the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, so it looks like Cube's going to be going for it. Yuuki should be taken down on the backside of this fight. The flash in from Cube secures the kill.
Southwind is a god. I'm going to say that right now. That engage was godlike from him, and because of that, because they took down 3 members of LGD, they can now very safely go and do this Baron.
Vici Gaming turned the fight to get the Baron on themselves, 6k gold lead, and Jay off the back of that, was that just a Sleepy Trouble Bubble?
That was it alone.
I want a replay of that one,
I mean,
I'm going to be honest.
Yuumi has very low MR, pretty much the lowest MR out of any champion. Any mage can kill him.
And terrible base HP, and terrible chances of securing this Baron, because that one's over to Vici. So now if Vici walk away, massive gold lead, almost 8k in their pockets, 10 kills, just 1 tower up, but that's about to change, because they've got 3 minutes of Baron buff.
Great closing in from Vici Gaming. They surrounded LGD. LGD thought that it was a bait from Vici, so they wanted to get down that mid turret, but it just backfired onto them because they corralled themselves into the turret. As soon as we get this replay, you can see what happens. Keep your eyes on the Southwind because this engage is honestly legendary. Take a look at that. 3-man knock-up, and then the rest of the fight is already done before it's even started. The DPS comes through, and Garvey's ultimate didn't hit enough members to really make a difference. Mordekaiser comes in at the end.
He's just going to bop onto Yuuki as much as he can. This was a valiant effort from Yuuki, but flash from Cube going to be enough to secure it. And now LGD in a really tough spot. Behind in gold, behind in towers, behind in, well, Baron buffs at the moment. So they got to find a way to defend this one. And it's going to be looking difficult. I mean, Cube's finished his 3rd item. He's got a Rylai's. You cannot walk away from this man any longer.
It is extremely difficult. Cube's got to be off on a side. He can always 1v1 anybody with his ultimate to keep them in place. But more to the point, you've got so much poke coming out from Jay that you can't even defend your turret.
I like the double culling there from Yuuki and Puff. Just a little respect culling coming out. And Puff's now finished his 2nd item. He's got the rapid fire cannon, so he's going to be doing a whole lot more safely in these fights.
No.
Oh, Garvey has to blow the pool to keep himself safe from Cube, but that's not going to be up for another 10 seconds or so. Oh my God! PYL every single time gets picked off by Jay.
All right, that was dirty. I'm willing to say it right now. That was 100-0 from the Zoe alone.
Oh, Puff in a whole lot of trouble. This might be the kill onto him, but a good flash over the wall keeps him safe. LGD at least found something off that play.
They tried to go for it, but let's talk about how that Vladimir died in the bottom lane, because, oh, never mind, it's going to happen again.
We're about to see it. The Ignite goes down. Hemoplague healing going to be enough to keep him alive for the time being, but Jay still on the offensive, not going to find the paddle star onto Garvey. Flashes in the wrong direction a little bit. Cube looking for it, not going to be able to find it with the E. Now, Vici Gaming going to be taking down the bottom lane inhibitor. They have all 5 members alive. but that's going to be enough for them for this push. They're backing out.
They can either go for the Drake, which 2 Cloud Drakes, very good for a Mordekaiser, or even more importantly, they can just rinse and repeat back onto the top side. But I was talking about how it was really difficult to assign any lane against the Mordekaiser. The best one that you had was the Vladimir, but now that there's a Morellos on the Mordekaiser, the healing's gone from the Vlad, it's tough to even rotate him into a straight 1v1.
Yeah, 2 Morellos on the side of Vici Gaming, and Jay's even picked up, oh my god, he's picked up a Medjai's.
He did it.
That's what I like to see from my mid laners, honestly. He was like, I'm 5-0-5. That's a whole 10 stacks. We doing it. That's the rest of the game. I'm just betting I'm never going to die. And at this point, honestly, I don't see where he's going to be challenged in these fights.
Even if he dies, it's so easy for him to stack it back up. 2 times in a row now, we've seen him 100-0 PYL. You know that he has the ability to do that. PYL is never going to be able to take us out this entire game. Mark my words, never. And if he is ever detached from anybody, you can expect that he's going to get 100-0.
Ike's is going to be building up that Guardian Angel, and as soon as he does, these engages are going to get even crazier from the side of Vici Gaming. They already basically have free reign in these fights, but only 8 seconds left of the Baron buff until they have to start pushing without it. Don't know if it'll even reach the inhibitor tower in time, and Yuuki should be able to clear it out.
But still not the worst composition. Because of the Zoe poke, you've always got the siege.
Oh, that was really close to finding badeMan with a whole lot of damage. Soutwind getting routed out a little bit. But Sleepy Trouble Bubble denies LGD from chasing down any further. And a tower in the mid lane is taken down by Puff.
Yeah, it's going to be a division of duty between mid and also top. Watch for this counter engage.
There's the engage from Southland. Counter engage, like you said, coming in from LGD. They might be able to find anything on the Southland, but he's just so tanky. Kramer barely survives, has the QSS, flashes away from Ike. Ike goes golden in the meantime. Cube needs to do something with the damage he has available to him. Garvey takes down Puff, and at this point, LGD might be winning the fight. Vici have just been thrown off. They find 2 on the backside, though, and I think Vici Gaming just may pull ahead on this one. 3 for 2 so far in the fight. They should be able to pick up the inhibitor tower, flash away from Vici Gaming. They take up the inhibitor tower and they walk away.
Great stopwatch. Now they need to back out, lick their wounds, but they don't even want to go for that. So much latent healing coming out from this squad against just 2 members. They're going to go for the in-hit.
I don't know about this one. You have to deal with Kramer, who's got the Yuumi on him. Sleepy Trouble Bubble not going to land. They're able to secure the inhibitor for themselves at the very least. Kramer has to jump away. Can't even chase down, and it looks like they were right. They can get the inhibitor off that play, no problem.
And the same problem that's been plaguing LGD has plagued them once more. The fact that you haven't got enough DPS. Kramer by himself went for the Iceborne Gauntlet, not enough to take down the 3 remaining members. This was such a great counter engage coming out from Vici Gaming because there is the engage potential, but immediately Southwind once again with the 2-man headbutt pulverize. And once that happens, everybody else is diving. Watch for how they distribute this as well. Stopwatch onto Ike to get it onto Cube, but now Cube is burning down very low. Uses a stopwatch to move it onto another member. So beautiful to see Vici Gaming when they work as a 5-man unit.
Vici Gaming just showing the really best they have on offer here. The GA being picked up there by Ike, they're going to pick up the Cloud Drake here as well. But this is the Vici Gaming we wanted to see from this game. This is what all that development has been for, and they're honestly looking so good with it. The first game was not a great showing from them. Honestly, we were a little bit worried after that one. It was very back and forth, but not back and forth in the best kind of way. But this game is so dominant from them, as was game number 2. I'm excited for it. Here's the engage. Southland, can you find it? Teleport coming in as well. Vici Gaming are going to have all 5 members, if nothing else. There goes Cube. The Baron going to be spawning in a few seconds. Looks like Vici Gaming are looking for it. 1 second remaining. Here he comes.
Natural next target as well, and there is no real way that LGD can find a nice way into this. Instead, they're looking for the death camp.
Sleepy Trouble Level not going to land on anyone, but will limit the path that Kramer can take to safety. Has to jump over the wall there. The flash is going to be able to find badeMan. Can he keep it going? He has the slow from the Rylai's. badeMan has to go golden at this point. Can they find him on the back? They do. Yuuki now getting chased down. Cube has found his kill. Sleepy Trouble Level goes down onto Yuuki, but now Vici Gaming can just back off and walk towards the Baron.
So checking what ultimates are available for LGD, none available for the Vladimir, which is the most important one. Kramer also doesn't have his.
Kramer in so much trouble, but the QSS able to save him. But that QSS, that's gone for next fight.
That's exactly it. And the fact that there's such an advantage for Vici and everybody else needs to go back to defend their base means that it's going to be more or less a free Baron.
And look at all the tools that Vici have on offer for the next fight. They've got the flash on Puff still. Okay, that was scary. Baron is secured.
It is, of course, secured because the smite's still stronger, but if they were lapsing, if they weren't watching, if they were window shopping as well, could have gone the complete other way. Vici Gaming, though, looks like they've got this game in the bag just because of that last fight as well. You saw that Garvey expended his ultimate, but unfortunately didn't hit enough members, and yeah, that was really their last chance to come back into the game. Unfortunately, couldn't find it.
Puff going for a very safe build here. He's got the Bloodthirster and the Hex Drinker. He just wants to make sure he survives these fights. He's able to put out that consistent DPS for his team because they've already got burst. They've already got sustain. If you're the AD carry, you just bring AD at this point.
That's pretty much it. You just need to stay safe and the more damage the merrier.
Ike's in trouble, has the GA available. I don't think this is even going to be a pick on Ike's. It turns into a pick on the badeMan. They take down 2 in Vici Gaming. 2 kills for none so far in this fight. They're looking for the inhibitor tower. Puff has got it down. They might look for Kramer here on the back end. Nobody will respawn from LGD for another 30 seconds. This could just be the end of the game here. They're looking for Kramer. Might be able to find him. He's ignited.
Oh!
They flash in. Puff's able to find the kill. 2 members remaining here for LGD. But that may be all she wrote. The knockup. The engage comes in from Vici Gaming. They find one. Can't find Yuuki on the fountain. But they're going to find the Nexus towers now. They're changing their focus. Vici Gaming want to ring in the end of 2019 with a series win. They made it to 15th place.
That is ridiculous. Where was this Vici throughout the rest of the year, Nibiria? Take a look at the way that they played. Game number 2 and game number 3 were so clean, so systematic. Get your leads early, shut down your opponent's strengths, and make sure from that point onwards that you always make the correct calls. It's better to make the calls and to fail than to not at all, but man, Vici Gaming just looks so clean.
Soutwind smiling his face off after that last game, and honestly, can you blame him even one bit after that performance on Alistar for those past few games? He can go home happy, he can go home with that smile still on his face. Beautiful performance from the support of Vici Gaming.
And Nibiria, I only have one regret, and that is the fact that we don't have any party whistles, because we would have blown them full force for this victory. Not only do they end the split on a match win, but they also secure not last place, second last. They bump OMG down, and man, Vici must feel so good.
They have progress now from last split. They have proof that they're on a clear upward trajectory. And for this team, for their coach, for their owner, for everyone involved in the organization, that is a sigh of relief. That is progress forward.
Man. For the side of the players, though, take a look at them all. So much relief. They gave it their all. It was really great to watch, and I'm going to have a hard time picking out an MVP for this game, in all honesty, because Cube, very, very strong. Got the solo kill, donated kills over to the rest of his team as well. But more importantly, consistently, game after game, Southwind's Alistar just looks so beautiful. So many of those engages were instigated by him. Needless to say, there was this 3-man engage in the middle of the game that more or less solidified the lead for them, and there was no way that LGD could have come back against it.
Honestly, I could give the MVP to almost anyone on this team, and I know I said that last game, but Jay was an absolute monster with this Zoe this game. Just destroyed everyone along the way. Solo killed PYL, one shot, 100-0 twice.
2 times, yeah. That was so strongly played by them, and look, the composition just worked. They knew exactly how to do it. Zoe, throw out your E's. If they don't land, wait for the cooldown. If they land, Mordekaiser, pull them back. It worked every single time, and it's such a long range that you can actually pick your opponents out of. It was very difficult for LGD to play, even if they got a lead early.
I want to see more of this strategy coming from Vici in 2020. Because honestly, if you have a support you know is capable of these roams, and you have support jungle synergy strong enough between Ike's and Southwind, and they demonstrated they very much do have that, that you can make these roaming gank squads work, you can make this strategy work, just do it more often. If it brings you this much success, what's stopping you?
I would go one further, and I would say that it's because of the synergy between Southwind and Ike's, the fact that Alistar was always moving around with that Gragas as well, that really brought them that success. I mean, Ike's got MVP of game number 2, but don't forget, every single play that we saw in his highlight reel also had Southwind in it. He was always moving around the map, so you got to give props where it's due, and yeah, the fact that they could do that with the safety to know that the ADC isn't going to lose bottom lane is really what you need.
Well, it seems like we may have found a winning formula here for Vici, which is you have an AD carry, probably Lucian at this point, who can stand their own in the lane, be able to be pushed in and survive against the other lane long enough that Southwind can roam. You have a jungler that roams well, you have a jungler that combos well with Alistar with CC, and you have Jay on something that can sort of leave the mid lane a little bit.
And I'm a little bit disappointed, I would say, because we're at the end of the split. But this is a strategy that you could definitely build on. We've seen a lot of talkings because we've seen Tristana move towards the mid lane. You can actually move Corki into the bottom side. Now, of course, Corki's strength is the fact that he gets solo lane experience, so he can get to his item, to his level power spikes so much sooner. But if you leave him on an island by himself, you can put Corki into the bottom lane because it's pretty much a solo lane anyway.
Yeah, it's just so impressive now that Vici have found a strategy that works for them. But so I prepared something just in case. I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm very excited to present it because honestly, I thought it was a great idea. So this was the dreams. This says 15th place right here. This was the dreams of Vici's 15th place. And you'll note it's a tombstone. But you know what?
You got to rip it up.
We don't need it anymore.
You got to get it out of here.
They did it. They made it. They broke the curse. They're fine. Congratulations to Vici Gaming. That is absolutely fantastic. And don't you worry, everyone at home. I'm a responsible citizen. I'm going to clean up all that paper.
Of course you will.
But we're so excited. Vici did it.
You're going to clean it up just like they cleaned up their act at the end of this year. It looks so clean to see, but more importantly, they are 15th place, which means they are not last place. Previous one before that, and even one before that, they were last place, and it was by a very large margin. 3 games for 2018 spring, 5 games for 2018 summer, and also 4 games for 2019 spring, but they finally come up 15.
It's progress for the organization, and that is what you absolutely love to see in the LPL. And, you know, this is one of the benefits of a franchise system. We get to see these teams grow, you know. Vici got back there like, all right, cool. We're ready. We're ready to do it. We're going to do it. This is the split. We're going to do it. Okay, nope. We're going to refactor. We're going to refactor. We're going to refactor. They finally found their success with this squad of rookies, with this squad that they're running right now. And honestly, it's awesome. Yeah. It's fantastic to see that kind of growth.
It's beautiful to see.
I'm proud of them. I want to be like, I'm so proud of you, Vici.
Like, and possibly for the first time, for me at the very least, I could say that I'm looking forward to 2020 Vici because they ended 2019 so strong. I want to see how they can build onto that next year.
I'm excited because we know Hysterics was incredibly excited about Vici, you know, coming into last split, and everyone didn't get it. You know, he was just every time he was like, Vici. And we were just like, what? What are you talking about, Hysterics? I have no idea. He's not proud of that impression.
I mean, I'm Australian, so no, I can't give you any points for that. But still, yeah, he was hyped on it. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late for Vici's own good, but better late than never because you'd always want to see development coming out from this team. Yeah,
and we finally saw it. And I am excited to see what they're going to be able to bring going forward because Jay has proven that it's not just the Qiyana that does it. It's the things that Qiyana can bring that other champions can bring as well. He's not just, you give him one champion and he runs away with the game, you give him anything else, he falls apart. He's got that chance to spread open his champion pool.
It is definitely comfort for him. So, of course, the Qiyana's one of them. Zoe's another, and you've also got the Talia. If you give him high damage, if you give him what he's comfortable on, so he can either make picks or also make roams for himself, you know that he's going to be comfortable in getting your team accelerated. So, Vici Gaming, you've got a lot to work on, but you've also got a very solid base now.
Yeah, and LGD, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed with LGD's performance, especially compared to their performance last split. At the end of the split, they really cleaned up their act, whereas this one, it felt like they sort of fell apart a little bit because we saw what success LGD can find.
I mean, game number 1 looked very good for them. Even when they fell down in the mid game, the late game, they managed to bring it back very convincingly, mind I say. But at the end of the day, it was a game that didn't have too much implication for them. So we could sort of understand why they weren't possibly giving it their all in the very last game of the split.
Yeah, but you know what? We can go back to Vici Gaming and celebrate them a little bit longer because we do have the MVP from that game.
There it is. Bring it up.
It's going to be Jay on that Zoe. 8-0 and 80% kill participation. What a monster.
Everybody else followed up, and he was really the instigator. I was saying it time and time again, if he lands his E, you find a pick. And he landed a lot of them, but even further than that, he went beyond the Call of Duty and he actually hit his E, one-shotting the support over and over as well.
I'm actually wondering how many stacks he ended up with this game because he played these team fights absolutely beautifully after he bought that Medjai's. I thought it was a little bit too cocky, but he never did end up losing it. He did absolutely amazingly in all these fights, just positioning so beautifully on the side.
And that's what happens when you give him a champ that he's comfortable on. Multi-man CC, multi-man poke as well. Don't forget, he won his lane by himself. Very little resources devoted to him. He was actually moving around to meet the rest of the map as well, so he definitely deserved this one in game number 3.
This was just such a fun series to watch from Jay, you know, and to watch from Vici as a whole because they did develop over the course of it. Of course, game 1 was very, very, I'd say sloppy from both teams where neither of them really seemed to have a clear direction that they could maintain. But as they went through, as they developed, Vici Gaming seemed to pick up a little bit of steam, seemed to pick up a little bit of coherency in their composition. And honestly, I'm sad that Soutwind got neither of these MVPs.
Oh yeah, because he definitely deserves at the very least some sort of recognition for that Alistar work, moving around the map. It wasn't even just into the Taric where you want to play around the map, it was also into a Yuumi where you would imagine you actually want to stay into there. I mean, the biggest punisher for Yuumi is staying in lane, hard engaging onto it, killing the ADC 100-0, but instead, yeah, he is just so influential on the map, and you can see exactly which direction they want to take it. I mean, before, every single time that Vici didn't actually manage to get a lead for themselves, we took a look and we said, maybe it's because the bottom lane wasn't interacting with the rest of the map. They're a solid bot lane, but they can't get their influence across. Now they're getting their influence across because Soutwind is pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, beautiful progression there from Vici Gaming, and I'm so excited for the rest of the day because that was a beautiful start to it. But we've got more coming up. Next up, LNG versus Suning, our playoff implications, and after that will be our match of the week, TES versus FPX. Stick around for those series.